going on, y'all? My name is Yesop. We're here with Sounds of the Future to answer some questions for y'all.
I love you, 508.
I'm a songwriter, singer, producer. Down in Queens, I've been producing music for 5 years. My artist name, I go by Yesop. That's pretty much what I like to do. I like to produce music heavily inspired off Kanye, Baby Keem, a lot of underground artists as well. I write and I make my own music. I feel like the producing is more. When growing up, I listened to a lot of things that people didn't really like listen to. So, and that's how I learned how to produce on my own. I can't write if it's not sounding good for me, you know? So, especially with having production-wise is number one key for me. That's why I produce most of my shit, yeah. I was born in Queens, but I moved all around in the boroughs. I lived in Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, Long Island. I lived in ATL, and I feel like out of all the boroughs that I lived out of and, you know, the states that I lived out of, that's how I was able to get a connection between just different talents in different areas. That's what I feel like a lot of like older artists that I would listen to with my dad, a lot of funk music, things like, you know, Washington, Earth, Wind and Fire, a lot of things I got inspired off of from listening on the radio with my pops. So that's why I feel like, that's why I got inspired off. I didn't get inspired off just Queens, I just got inspired off I got inspired off New York. That's what I feel like. My dad was he was a model, and he also was a lead singer for a band called World Premiere. Back in the 80s, he was a lead singer. And from there, he kind of got in the mix with a couple of bad people, which kind of set him off the wrong track. But in a sense, he got to learn, how skilled and how deliberate the game has to be in order to become an artist or a producer. That's what I kind of learned from that. He taught me everything I needed to know production-wise about what to do with music. And when he was growing up, a lot of classical artists that he listened to, more importantly, he put me on to those classical artists, which allowed me to really use them to my advantage and sample a lot of things that people don't have, Definitely. I feel like when you going in the game right now, especially right now, I feel like it's become more hesitant and more, I'm not saying it's more dangerous, but just more wary about other people and what they do, because a lot of the times everybody is out for themselves, especially with this music shit. So I feel like one thing that it's definitely got me hesitant about was just the people that I deal with, you know what I'm saying? I have my own ideology with becoming an artist, and I feel like, sometimes, you don't need a label to try and get out there, you know what I'm saying? I feel like even being in a label, they'll put you aside and just focus on the people that's really making money, you know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like is the gist of trying to get into the music industry. It requires a lot of money, but there's a way you can hustle around it that just makes it a little more easier for you to manage. So I would definitely sign with a label, but I feel like even if I would have signed as a label, even if I was big or not, there's always gonna be artists that's bigger than me at a standard. So I feel like when people go into a label, they feel like, oh, I got a $3 million contract, I could be able to do whatever I want. They have the advertisement teams, they got the endorsement teams, they got your tour teams, but all of that stuff only acquires to the people that are a higher level. They got to see and make sure, okay, can this guy do it on his own? Can he be able to, reach up to the top on his own? It's kind of like, I think I heard something from like Big Sean got signed to a label, and he was straight underground before he even blew up with his song, because he had to get all of his songs done on his own and promotion and everything like that. I feel like nowadays, because of what's going on in the industry, labels want to see the biggest profit for the biggest artists. And if you don't have that type of visual context that they're looking for, then simple as that, you're gonna have to come up on your own for sure. That's what I feel like. I would join a label, but it's still in a sense of being independent in a label. You have to be independent in a label in order to gain your remark for other people inside the company. That's what I feel like. I feel like in music, I feel like there's always sounds to be discovered. There's always samples to be chopped. It's like a never ending like maze. You feel me? It's just like there's always something to do when it comes to music, and that's what I feel like is my motivation, is just sounds that people haven't heard, is something different. That's what I aim to achieve as an artist. You know what I'm saying? I just want to achieve a different sound. When niggas hear like, oh, that's Yesop, you know what I'm saying? I want them to make sure they say like, yo, that's Yesop. This is a different type of sound that I'm doing, because in my production, again, production is it's a big sense for me. So when I do my production, it's gotta be different. It's gotta be different. It's gotta be different from any of the other niggas that's making music right now. The samples, it's really gotta be just something ethereal. That's what I feel like is my inspiration and what keeps me going, because you know, there's always new music to be discovered. That's what I feel like. I hope to see myself inspiring others on top of helping my family and helping the people around me. That's what I feel like. I really want to take this music thing to a message. That's what I want to do. It's not just for me, it's for other people. That's what I feel like. I feel like if I'm gonna say something on the radio, then I'm gonna say it to not just you, I'm gonna say it to everybody. That's what I feel like. That's what I want to convey a message to everybody that's speaking out. I feel like for sure, especially because I'm a writer, I feel like always writing in a sense to myself is in relation to other people and what they're going through. So that way I'm able to improve my writing every time. That's how I evolve with like music itself, by writing a message not only to myself, but critiquing myself while I write. That's what I feel like. I really want to be remembered as somebody who really stepped up to the plate and pushed boundaries with music. That's what I feel like. I want to be that type of person that just, like, this is the man that like really put a foundation of some sort down with hip hop and alternative hip hop and music in general. That's what I feel like. I want to set a foundation that people can really get on, and in hopes they make their own thing. I've had an upcoming project that I can't too much say about, because I've been waiting for the right time to release it. It's 2 albums that I'm coming out with, but I can't say the name on the other one because it's too crazy. But I do got an album coming out called Low Rise and M9s. It's a collaboration with my girl, and pretty much it's just gonna be a very artistic, like boom bap, nostalgic, but futuristic type of sound that I'm going for. You know, it's got that old groovy like system, but at the same time, it's gonna be different for sure. I'm very excited to put that out. But as for the other album, I'm still waiting on that. Yeah. Don't be afraid to be yourself. That's what I feel like. Just a lot of people's gonna judge you no matter what. You know, if you think that you're doing something right, people gonna think you're doing something wrong. And if you feel like you're doing something wrong, people's gonna judge you and think you're right. That's what I feel like. It's just, the world is opinionated, and only you can control yourself and be able to push yourself to the limit. That's what I feel like. If you want to be able to do something, then give it your all.
I love you, 508.